Welcome back to another Screencastify with your host, Mr. Cavender. We're going to jump right into this, and this week we're talking about adding tenths and hundredths and looking at how we can go back and forth between fractions and decimals. So let's go ahead and just get right into it. What is the sum of 7 hundredths and 1/10? Okay. So we want to think about the relationship here. So 7 over 100 and 1/10. Now, the way that we want to work with these, we're obviously looking for the sum, so that's going to be addition here. The way we want to think about this is we're either trying to get them both to where they have a denominator of 100 or they both have a denominator of 10. In order to be able to add these, we have to have them out of the same whole. And so in this situation, we're dealing with hundreds or dealing with tenths. So we have to ask ourselves, is it going to be easier for us to go and turn 7 hundredths into tenths equivalency or 1/10 into hundredths equivalency? And in this case, it's going to be a lot easier going or manipulating this 1/10. So if I multiply both the numerator and the denominator by 10, I'm going to get a denominator of 100 because 10 times 10 is 100 and 1 times 10 is 10. So I have 7 over 100 plus 10 over 100, and that's going to be simply 17 over 100. So it's all about figuring out, would it be easier to go from tenths to hundredths or hundredths to tenths? And in this situation, with just having a 7 here, it would have been a lot more difficult going to tenths. Okay. Let's see here. Jared, Consuela, and Reggie have an ant farm. Jared collected 25, so I'm going to write J, C, and R for the 3 people. So I'm organizing my problem. Jared had 25 over 100. Sorry, let me get back in the camera. Consuela had 6/10. What fraction of the ants did Jared and Consuela collect all together? Okay, so they're not telling us. Like, Reggie is just kind of like extra information there. We don't even need to know. It's just extra filler information that's trying to trick you. So we're not even going to worry about that. What I do need to worry about is this right here. Is it going to be easier for me? I want to get 100 or 10. And the only time it's easy to go between something that's 100 and get it down to a 10 is if your numerator is like a 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Because then that's very easy to divide by 10. But if it's not going to be able to divide 10 even into even groups or divide it equally into normal groups, then we don't want to mess around with that. So I don't want to divide 25 by 10. What I do want to do is multiply the numerator and denominator by 10. So when we're working these kind of problems, we're always going to be using 10. We'll either multiply the numerator and denominator by 10, or we'll be dividing the numerator and denominator by 10. 6 times 10 is 60, and 10 times 10 is 100. So it says, what fraction of the ants did Jared and Consuela collect all together? All together is going to tell me addition. So 25 hundredths plus 60 hundredths is going to give me 85 hundredths. And so just for kicks, if you wanted to know how much of the project Reggie did, we'd have to take 100 100ths because that would be a completed project. Subtract the 85 100ths, and he did 15 hundredths. So he didn't do very much of the work. Okay. Heath has 100 trading cards. 7 out of 100 of his card collection is football. F for football. And 7/10 are baseball. Together, the football and baseball cards make up what fraction of Heath's card collection? Okay, so together, that's a big word there. All right, so I want you to take what you've learned over the past 2 problems and try this on your own. There's no No pressure here. This is not a grade. Just try it. Pause the video, and then we'll come back together and see how you did. Okay, so I've given you enough time to pause. So if this was me, what I would do is I would want to change this 7/10 to where it's going to have a denominator of 100. So I'm multiplying the numerator and denominator by 10. 7 times 10 is 70. 10 times 10 is 100. So 70, so 7 over 100 plus 70 over 100 is going to equal 77 over 100. So together, that's going to be D. Ezra chose C as the correct answer. How did he get that answer? Well, if he got 77 over 200, it's very obvious to me that what Ezra does not understand is that the denominator tells me the size of my pieces. It doesn't tell me like I have that many there. It's just telling me I have 7 100th size pieces. Okay, it's not telling me that I have, I need to add the denominators. That's something we never do, is add the denominators, because it's just literally telling us the size of the pieces. So that's what Ezra doesn't understand there in that bottom part. Okay, we've got about 3 minutes left. Let's try to knock out as many of these as we can. So you try this one. Which equation is true? Pause. Okay, let's go through here. So I'm going to have to, on this one, I would have multiplied 8/10 by 10 over 10 and got 80 hundredths. Okay, so then 80 plus 3 would be 83 hundredths. All they did was add the numerator and denominator. That is dead wrong. On this one, I would have done, again, multiplied 8/10 by 10 over 10 and got 83. Wrong. I got 83 over 100. So that is, again, wrong. I would have, again, multiplied 10 over 10 to get 80, and that's going to get me 83 over 100. So that one's going to be right. And then here again, would have multiplied 8/10 times 10 over 10. And no, not going to happen. Okay. All right, you try this one right here. 3, 2, 1, pause. Okay. Noelle rode her bike 5/10 of a kilometer to the library, and then another 22 hundredths of a kilometer to her friend's house. How far did in all? Okay, so you should have done 5/10 plus 22 over 100. And now I'm going to multiply this 5/10 by 10 over 10 to get 50 over 100 plus 22 over 100. And that's going to give me 72 over 100. So that would be C. 72 over 100. All right, we have 1 minute and 30 seconds left, so let's finish strong. Fill in each box with either 10 or 100 to make the equation true. So we know that our final answer is 60 over 100. So for this one, I know it's not going to be 4 plus 20 is 24. So that means the 4 is going to have to change to a 40. So it would have to have originally been 4/10 and 20 hundredths. And then I would have changed this one to, times 10 times 10 and got 40 over 100 plus 20 over 100 equals, you guessed it, 60 over 100. Okay, I have about 1 minute left altogether. See if I can knock out one more. Tell whether each equation is true or false. So pause, play. 2, so I would have turned this into 20 over 100, which, what they did wrong was the denominator there. That is false. It would have been over 100. I got 30 seconds left. 4, so I would have changed 4/10 into 40 over 100 plus 4, so that would have been 44 hundredths. That is true. And then this would have turned into 90 over 100, so that is going to be false. Just in the nick of time. Okay, I hope you have a better understanding of how we're going back and forth between tenths and hundredths. that's my